Thank you. Good evening. I'm Jared Bowdler, Vice President in charge of page numbers for Blue Pencil Publishing. You may be familiar with us for our pioneering efforts to increase product placement in literature, including such fine works of fiction as The Sun Ship Also Rises, The Grape Nuts of Wrath, and of course, Naked Lunchables. But now, with the runaway success of the censored, repurposed edition of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, we have decided to branch out into the lucrative field of re-editing high school curriculum books so as not to disturb the sensibilities of today's youngsters. We dipped a toe in those waters a few months ago with the publication of Joseph Conrad's The African American of the Narcissus. And the result was so impressively successful that we intend to add several new titles to the Blue Pencil Classics Library of modified classics. Here are just a few of the minor changes we will soon be implementing. Moby Dick. Well, it's kind of obvious what sort of problem we're going to have with that one. But never fear. We've retitled it Moby, the Wacky White Whale. And the character of Captain Ahab has been altered so as not to offend the differently abled. So instead of missing an eye and having a wooden leg, he'll just be nearsighted and have a limp. And of course, several of the supporting characters will pop in from time to time and remark how his disabilities certainly haven't held him back in his career. The Scarlet Letter? Well, Nathaniel Hawthorne's classic will be changed in one small but significant way. The letter itself. The letter A is something we should be encouraging kids to strive for, right? So, we just replaced the letter on Hester Prynne's chest with the letter F to show our kids that there's real stigma involved there. Now all we have to do is figure out what the letter F stands for, and we'll be fine. Oh. We'll work on that one. Harper Lee's famous novel of the South will now be known as The Mockingbird Was Dead When He Got There. And the character of Boo Radley's name will be changed so as not to startle anybody. The Catcher in the Rye, well, we'll just pretend that one doesn't exist at all, okay? Charles Dickens' David Copperfield. We'll have all the magic tricks put back in. The Diary of Anne Frank. Well, that will remain essentially the same, but in the new version, they'll be hiding from werewolves. 1984, that too will remain essentially unchanged. We'll just be adding a big yellow sticker that says, "Caution, not a history textbook." Of Mice and Men. I'm not really familiar with that one. Maybe we can have the mice talk. Yeah. Fahrenheit 451. Well, again, we don't want to give anybody the wrong idea, so we burned all our copies, so we don't have to worry about that one. No one will ever be the wiser. You know, that's a good motto for our company. No one will ever be the wiser. I'll have to write that down. And, well, we've got many more titles coming up in the near future, but I think you get the general idea. We want to thank all the teachers, administrators, and parents for their support for our project. And of course, we want to thank and credit the inspiration of Mr. Alan Griffin, editor of the neutered, improved version of Huckleberry Finn, for taking the N-word out of our kids' literature and putting it back in their rap songs and basic stand-up cable comedy shows where it belongs. Thank you, and don't forget to read safely.